Hey guys, and welcome back to the Chaotic Kids channel, where I'm Michelle and making fantasies come true one story at a time. And today we're going to be doing another book review. This is the third book review that I am doing this month. This is also the fourth book that I finished this month, and in this quarter, this is the seventh book I finished, which is maddening. I think in total I've finished like 10, almost 11 books, which is really cool. Especially considering last year I maybe finished like 3. But yeah, so this book I read today, this week was Why I Love Being Catholic by Matthew Kelly. Well, I say by Matthew Kelly. He did a foreword, but this was a book where they asked 100,000 different Catholics, 3 different questions, which I will answer these questions personally for myself. And then kind of do like what other people thought as well. But the questions were, why do you love being Catholic? What's your favorite memory as a Catholic? And as a Catholic, what are your hopes for the future? And I will say I really enjoyed reading this. I love getting these kind of like glimpses into people's lives. Now, some of these answers were like quick one sentence stories, like not stories, but memories and things like that, or whatever the question's asking. But there are others that are very long, and you get to know a little bit more about the person and their lifestyle. But it was so nice to hear how people converted to the faith, how they were able to impact other people's lives and stuff. So it was really nice to see just hope and love and the faith grow, you know? They also talked about this I was going to say religious order. It's a ministry called the Dynamic Catholic. I'm pretty sure it's a program. Yeah. But basically it's like a little group that meet, like kind of like my Unbound retreat, my Unbound ministry that I do am kind of joining and stuff. But it's just for a different order and stuff. But yeah, it's lovely. I've personally really loved Matthew Kelly's books. I've got like 5 or 6 that I'm wanting to read, or I have copies of that I need to get through before I buy more books. But yeah, enjoy Matthew Kelly's work. I believe this is the second or third book that I read of his. Maybe I've only read 1. I feel like it's been 2 though. I don't know. But so I'm just gonna go over my answers to the questions, and I will also do like what other people thought and stuff. So the first question they asked was, why do you love being Catholic? And for me, my answer is I love being Catholic because every time I enter the church, every time I pray, every time I just go to the cemetery, and I usually go to the Catholic cemeteries, but every time I go somewhere where there's some sort of religious aspect to it, I just feel so at peace, and I feel like I'm entering home. And, for me, home is where my family is. And yes, I have my, blood family, but also, like, God, Mary, Jesus, the saints, the angels, everybody in the sense is my spiritual family as well. And like having the Holy Father and Blessed Virgin Mary, like they are my parents. Jesus is my brother. And like just being in a place where I feel like they live constantly, like where they're constantly at, just makes me feel so at peace. And I'm somebody who struggles with pressure. Like I always put pressure on myself. I always feel as if I need to be perfect. Like I have this standard that I feel like I need to live up to. But when I go there, when I go to the church and sit in front of the Blessed Sacrament with no one else around, I am completely at peace. And, you know, hopefully one day I will be able to get to the point where I don't put so much pressure on myself for this perfectionism, that it ends up causing me problems. Like, I want to release the tension and the pressure that I have in my life. And that revolves around the church, or just being around people that I don't personally know, but yet I do understand them because of my faith, you know? Speaking of, like, the Unbound ministry, like, those ladies that I've met, they just make me feel so at peace, you know? Like, I'm not feeling as if I'm being judged by my past, by my family members, by anything. I am seen there. I'm like, when I'm there, I'm fully present as Michelle, but also as the chaotic kid system. Like, I may be fronting, but yet I'm speaking for everyone, or I hope I'm speaking for everyone. There are a few of my alters who are very much against being Catholic, but, you know, I'm hoping one day, like, I'll be able to, like, we'll all be able to share in, like, the beauty that is God and in the Catholic faith, you know? And that was kind of an overall census for the book, like, for this specific section. It was a lot of, like, feeling at home and at peace whenever you enter the church, and just feeling at peace when you're, like, in communication with God. Which I feel like a lot of Catholics can relate to, like, feeling at peace. And, like, even ones that are not, like, I don't know how to put this, but, like, those that are also, like, not as dynamic or into their faith, they kind of just do it because they were raised like that. But, like, those that are more dynamic, like, I feel like they also, like, the ones that are non-dynamic, like, just people who go to mass, like, I feel like they also see the relief, you know? There was actually, somebody in the book talked about how their mom was, I feel like, I can't remember exactly, but she might have been full of depression and stuff. The dad was kind of socially distant, but at church they completely changed. And I feel like that's so true. Like, as soon as you enter the church, you're just filled with relief and you feel almost detached from your body, you know? So, yeah. Question number 2 is, what is your favorite memory as a Catholic? Now, for me, I wouldn't say I have a specific memory. My memories are kind of what I'm currently living, like, every small step that I'm taking in my faith. So, like, going to Soul Provider, the local Catholic shop, going there, meeting the ladies that I met, doing the, sorry, I'm blanking. Doing the, doing the cookbook for my friend, talking to that friend more often, slowly, like, doing the total consecration for the first time. Everything that I've been doing, like, this journey of becoming a sister, like, all these small steps are leading up to something better. And, which is how I, like, how God, like, not how God, but, like, how my life is supposed to go. Like, I'm supposed to keep growing and growing as a person. And, you know, I feel like my greatest memory is going to be a memory that happens after I'm dead. Like, when I'm dead, I'm hoping to leave a legacy that'll last for generations. And I truly feel like God is leading me up to this great legacy. And I just need to be proactive in this journey and progress with Him to make this legacy last. And, you know, I just know from that, like, I feel like from my personal hopes and dreams, like, this legacy is going to impact the world, and that's all I can ask for. And so I'm like, my favorite memory is going to happen when I'm dead. And I'm just on the ride to see it, kind of thing. Question number 3. Oh, I was going to say, for other people's favorite memory, I can't really remember any in specifically because obviously, like, I don't know their personal lives and nothing stuck out to me. But there was a few times people talked about them returning to the faith, or them making their first Holy Communion or confirmation, or the baptism of their child and stuff. I think, was it this book? There was a story of how, what was it? I can't remember, but there was a story about a young girl who, I think it was a young girl who asked why she can't, like, receive the communion whenever she knows that she loves God and God loves her. And the parent was like, in due time, you just have to wait for patience, kind of thing. But yeah, so it was just like, all the sacraments are such key important factors and memories for everybody. Question number 3 is, as a Catholic, what are your hopes for the future? For me, my hopes are basically to eventually bring, like, all my family to heaven with me. My goal is to make it to heaven, obviously. But for my family, I'm not just talking about my immediate family. I'm talking about my aunts and uncles and their families, and also the in-laws, everybody. I want everyone to be connected in heaven. And, I know going into it, like, some of my family members aren't Catholic. And I'm like, I'm still going to pray for them. I'm still going to try to make it to heaven, because I'm like, say if their aunt was able to, well, my aunt, their mom was able to make it, but the kids weren't, I would know that the mom would be heartbroken. And if my aunt didn't make it, but my grandma made it, then I know that my grandma would be devastated because her daughter didn't make it. And this even goes to, like, say my dad, like, if my aunt didn't make it, but my dad did, maybe that would hurt my dad. And I'm like, and even personally for me, like, my aunt wasn't there, I would be hurt because she's part of my family, So I'm like, no matter how distant they are, they still can be related back to me and my own, like, where I'm currently at, So I'm like, I just pray for everyone to make it to heaven, pretty much. Others hoped for the conversion of more people, for more youth to see the glory in God, to impact the future of others and stuff. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this book. I was able to read it in 6 days. And once I started reading it, I was, like, hooked on it, which is really cool. Honestly, like, the last 4 or 5 days, no, I think for the last 5 days in a row, I've read a section of this every day. And I just got finished with it today at, like, 10:30, and it's currently almost 11. So I'm like, this book is just super great. It's such an easy read. So if you're interested, I will leave a link down to it in the description below. My next kind of Catholic read that I'm reading, I am going to be reading The 4 Signs of a Dynamic Catholic by Matthew Kelly. Yeah, the little tagline here says, how engaging 1% of Catholics could change the world. And then on the back it says, what 4 things do Mother Teresa, St. Francis of Assisi, John Paul II, Teresa of Lisieux, Ignatius of Loyola? I'm terrible at city names. But what do all these have in common? What should all practicing Catholics have? Like, just talking about the Catholic faith and stuff. I don't entirely know much about this book, going into it blind like I usually do. And I'm also planning on continuing to read the Unbound book that my friend gave me, A Practical Guide to Deliverance. So those are the 2 books that I'm going to be reading related to my Catholic faith. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to talk about. Again, if you want to pick this up, I will leave a link down in the description. I usually leave links to Amazon. If you buy it off of Amazon, I don't get any commission. But there is you can buy this also at dynamiccatholic.com. You can probably pick up, like, go through there and also search through a lot of the books. But basically the Dynamic Catholic is, like, ambassadors to, like, in a ministry for strengthening people's relationship with God. Yeah, really good book. I am now going to be donating this to my local mission, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like down below or comment down below if you have a book suggestion you think I would enjoy. And if when you leave a comment down below, if you are Christian, Catholic, and you have any Catholic read or Christian or Catholic reads that you think I would enjoy, leave it in the comments down below. I've been interested in reading more Christian fiction books. Obviously, I'm trying to write a Christian fiction. Sorry, my nose itches. But I'm trying to read more Christian fiction books, and getting other people's recommendations might help me fulfill my dream of reading more books. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you guys all have a lovely day. And remember to keep making fantasies happen, one story at a time, okay? And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!